Hello, my name is David Faure and I work for KDAB. In this video series, I would like to talk to you about how to style Qt widgets. As a Qt consultant and developer, I have written many widget styles for KDAB customers, and I'd like to share some of my experiences with you. So let's say you have written a Qt Widgets application, like this one, and your boss is tired of this old gray look and square buttons. It all feels a little bit dated. So what he does is to hire a designer, and the designer comes up with mockups like this. And then your task is to implement the styling of the widgets so that it actually looks like this. In my case, the mockup was made by a colleague of mine, Nuno, who you might know from the Oxygen style in KDE. And he came up with a new version of Oxygen, which he calls O Square. And that's what this design is about. And I'm implementing some of it as an example for this video. All right, so how do we get there? He especially likes this dark theme. So the first thing we are going to do is how to make the application dark. That's easy. We just change the application palette. And that's what I've hooked to that checkbox here. Okay, we have dark background, light text. That's easy. But we can see that this is not enough. Now the text is hard to read on the buttons. They are still square. The progress of the progress bar is still on the side of the progress bar instead of being inside of it. All of this is going to require more changes. Okay, so how do we change the existing widgets, those provided by Qt? We have two solutions. We can either write a widget style or we can use the Qt style sheets. And then for some cases, you might also have widgets that are just not provided by Qt. Like if I come back to the mockup, we can see, for instance, the toggle switch here. That's a different type of widget. We could say this is the style of a checkbox, but because we also want checkboxes, let's just say, okay, we are going to do this as a custom widget. And that's another solution for having widgets that just have a different look. We write a completely separate custom widget, which is actually easier, I would say, than styling existing widgets. But there are cases where you don't want to reinvent the whole widget, the API, the behavior, and so on. If you had to re-implement a combo box, it would take you a very long time to make sure everything is right, the sizing and all of that. It's a lot easier to just change the style of the existing widgets. And also, if you have an existing application, you don't have to port to new widgets. It's just easier to just write a widget style or a Qt style sheet. A fourth case where you want to change the appearance of things on the screen would be items in an item view, like a list, a table, or a tree. In those cases, you would write an item delegate. But that is something that is already covered by my colleague Jesper in his series Qt Widgets and more. So you'll find the links to those videos here, and I'm not going to cover that again. All right, so in the next video, I will show you how to implement a widget style, and then in the subsequent video, we'll talk about style sheets so that you can compare the two solutions. If the next video hasn't been released yet, you can subscribe to the KDAB TV channel to get notified when it comes out. Thanks.